Okay, well, let's toss that question to Mohit Gang, the CEO and co-founder of Moneyfront, who joins in now. So Mohit, as Sumaira was just pointing out, very helpful data. The lesser stocks you have, perhaps the better your fund does. Is that your analysis as well? And is concentration a criteria to be considered when it comes to investing in mid-cap funds?
Hi, Sonia. Yes, I think that's precisely the point which we have also tried to jostle around with. So if you see the SEBI definition of a mid-cap fund is from 101st company to 250th company in terms of market capitalization. Now, there is a universe of around 150 odd stocks from which a fund manager needs to pick his choices out there, right? Now, if a fund manager is going for around 70 to 90 schemes, in a portfolio from out of 150 stock universe, he's virtually picking 2 out of every 3 stocks available out there. So there is no significant amount of research which is going out there to pick 2 out of 3, right? And what we have seen in terms of performance also, fund managers who have concentrated their portfolio in a range of around 35 to let's say around 50, 55 odd stocks, those have been by far the best performers across different time segments, not just last 1 year. We've cut out the data month on month. We've also cut out the data for last 3 years, 5 years. On every time frame, we've figured out that fund managers who've stuck around with a concentrated portfolio of up to 50 stocks, just about that sweet spot, they've actually outperformed all other fund managers, and especially the fund managers who have taken like 60, 70 plus stocks in the portfolios. They are the ones who have actually suffered because the tail has become too fat to be managed.
Point is taken, Mohit, but I don't know if we've got that plate, if Sumaira gave that plate also. See, 46 to 60 stocks, she says the 5-year return is 18.19 and above 60 it is 17.53. That's not a very big difference. I mean, it's a 60 basis point difference. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, Lata, so I think a valid point out there, but it's an annualized difference, right? Okay. So if you put year on year, it will become a substantial difference out there. What off late we have seen is, and if you even see month on month performance for last 1 year, every month portfolios which have more than around 80 to 90 odd stocks, around 70 plus stocks, have kind of lagged behind. Basically because it's a classic case of tail wagging the dog. Look, so what happens is typically the top 10 stocks will have around 30 to 40% of the portfolio allocation, which means 4% each roughly. But the remaining 60% stocks will have, 60 stocks will have 60% allocation, which is like a percent each. So that's hardly substantial to make a overall impact on the portfolio returns. So that's where the tail risk becomes too large.
No, I take your point. Actually, in the 3-year return, the difference is stark. In Sumaira's table, see, the 3-year return for 46 to 60 is 14%, whereas for above 60, the 3-year return is only 10.
Yes.
So clearly, the lesser stocks seems to score. But, investors generally tend to stay in mutual funds for a longish bit. And during a long, once you get into a fund, you don't change it maybe for 4-5 years. So, in that case, you go through several economic cycles. For instance, the current cycle is expected to benefit a lot of mid-cap stocks. So, would you still say that, fewer stocks is better?
Look, so what happens is, and your point is absolutely valid, as a fund grows over size, if the AUM becomes too large, the fund managers have limited choices available, and they will have to buy more stocks in the portfolio to allocate their corpus, because mid-caps also have this problem of lesser liquidity at times. Right. However, investors who are invested, they need to keep checking their portfolios on various matrices, and concentration risk is one such matrix, which I think every year or every 2-3 years one needs to evaluate in the portfolio whether the scheme is actually adding too much of diversification in terms of buying a lot many stocks in the portfolio, and if that is not adding to the material difference or returns of the scheme, then one needs to take a conscious call out.
Okay. Mohit, what about funds which churn stocks frequently? What does a higher churn indicate in terms of a return profile?
Look, so higher turnover ratios typically will mean that the fund manager is moving in and out a lot. There are few trading costs involved out there, which isn't very substantial, but yes, those costs materially impact the returns of an investor. But if you're moving in and out, then it doesn't become like a buy and hold strategy, which mutual funds are known for, right? Mutual funds are not like trading portfolios or PMS portfolios or your AIF portfolios, which will rotate your schemes very frequently. So one needs to have conviction. A concentrated portfolio is reflective of conviction of a fund manager manager's ability. And in a mid cap, you can play the information advantage very well. So if a fund manager is very well researched, he can play that information advantage alongside other parameters, and that will give the edge. So if you have a concentrated portfolio, that shows the ability of a fund manager and his conviction.
Fair point. Mohit, there are lots more questions, but out of time. Thank you very much, both to you and to Sumaira, for advising us on how to go about selecting mid-cap mutual funds.